Okay.
It's very important, this kind of new techniques. You know that. What is Bemer?
What is Bemer? It's always a good question. I get always asked with it. For me, Bemer is a very powerful supportive tool for best supportive care, for prevention. Especially we are living in the age of prevention. And it is the most researched technology working on microcirculation, especially on impaired vasomotion and therefore blood distribution in the microcirculatory networks.
Okay, I think that the microcirculatory condition of a lot of patients with diabetes and obesity and cardiovascular disease, including cancer, is very affected. Do you know, or do you think that this kind of tools maybe help these patients?
I would even go further. We have to differentiate. First, we have to differentiate between the healthy state, prevention state. That is a very powerful tool, but especially in chronic diseased patients, as you mentioned, diabetes, obesity, and I would point out a little bit cancer. We have to say that Bemer is working on the microcirculation. So that, first of all, is a paradigm change, because we are not working on the disease itself, but we help the body to emphasize and to help the regulation, the autoregulation, and so the healing of itself. That is it. We just furnish and help the body to furnish diseased cells or impaired cells to get better nourished and to have a better evacuation. Always in relationship to the prescribed therapies.
I think that it's very important to try to produce a lot of ATP intracellular levels. You know that the science is looking about what happened with our mitochondrial function, and then if I use Bemer, we hope that improve the mitochondrial function.
Improving mitochondrial function, I would say yes. For that kind, we can say that Bemer has made a study that we can increase ATP production in a former version about 18%. And we all know ATP is the crucial element for energy, the cellular energy. Without energy, there's no cellular work. One of the most important furnisher of or supporter of ATP production is oxygen. Yeah. We need oxygen. So it is a very simple way of action. If you open up microcirculation, you increase vasomotion, what do you get? You can just expect, in the best case, a 30% increased oxygen uptake of the cell. If you go further, you see more oxygen in the cell means more energy. So that is the sentence I always say. Give the cell what it needs and it will produce what it has to produce. Is it oxygen? Is it regeneration or so on?
I agree. I used Bemer in the last years, more or less, with a lot of patients with different illness. You know that with affect local tissues and with different chronic illness. The function is very interesting because I think that the most important tools that I have in this moment don't affect directly or indirectly the levels of ATP inside in the cells, and this kind of tools maybe help a lot of patients with this condition. And the other thing that is very important, I think, that is the distribution of all their tools that are using by oral way. I'm talking about medication or nutraceuticals or food includes. You know that. What do you think about the action of this kind of drops or something like that to use by oral way to improve our cells conditional in our patient. Maybe, do you have any study or something like that to demonstrate what about the level of use in tissues of this kind of drops or something like that?
We are just pointing out some studies, just going now on the phase 3 studies to see what happens. But as you really mentioned on the right way to say, we have only one distribution system in our body. That is our blood system. So everything we take, every uptake, either is it medication, is it food, is it water, is it oxygen, everything, or medication, ortomolecular medication and so on, supplements and so on, all have to pass through the same distribution level. Yeah. So, okay, it is not really scientific spoken now, but if I can increase the uptake of oxygen around about 30% in the best way, I can also increase, I don't know the percentage, but it's the same way. Open up the vessels, give the cell what it needs, and it will take it. But we have to furnish it. We have to open the way so that your medication, my food, my water, and my oxygen can reach the target cell.
And improve the regenerative medicine.
And
it's
that
very
is
important.
Sorry, that is really to say, there you have with Bemer a powerful team player supporting all kinds of therapies to improve, and that's the most important in our work, to improve patient health and patient well-being.
I use Bemer with a lot of patients with muscle pain, you know that, and they ask it very, very, very faster. And the patient say that in 2 sections, more or less 20 minutes, twice a week or something like that, the effect is very, very, very interesting. Okay. I think that it's a future tools inside in this moment.
You just took my word out of my mouth, but for me, that is why I am here. I was very skeptical in first time when I met with Bemer, because, I couldn't think that this simple mechanism would work. But the most effective way, and what convinced me, was my own impression. I'm suffering from chronic back pain. I have a bad posture, so you have tensions. And yes, I think also this will be a tool for the future in hospitals, but also at home, because it's easy to use. Yeah. It's for every patient very easy to use. It's 2 times a day. You lay in the morning and in the evening, and you have a 24-hour coverage and recovery. But we have to teach the patient why he should do and how he should do. So I'm very glad and thank you that for the invitation and that I had the chance to present the technology here.
Was very, very important tools for our Congress to put
to thank you very much and to meet a colleague who is working with Bemer and has and that's I wanted to ask you, what really are your impression about the work? Is it easing up your life in the practice, or?
It's very easy to use these kind of tools in the practice. I think that a lot of doctors in the next future maybe use Bemer for try to help our patient. I think so.
That's the main thing. Some colleagues always say, it's one other device and so on, one other treatment, so much work.
It's another kind of device. I think that is another kind of device. Yeah. But it's working in this concept that is different. But the vasomotion is this different concept. Not different, but I don't know if there is another tools to try to help this vasomotion function. Is the first for me, for my now.
It was also for me the first, and it is for me still the first to be, because, as I mentioned in the lecture, in the smallest vascular structures, where we have this autorhythmical vasomotion, we don't have any receptors, so the drugs cannot have an effect. And that is I would say, the biggest issue for this technology, because it is a non-invasive technology, and up to now, no known side effects are here, because they don't need to take a high dose because vasomotion is lowered and the pathway is obstructed. No, you just come from outside and you're working on the place, so you don't need this distribution level as medication needed. So that makes him a real powerful. And I am always a friend of combination, and for me it is one of the best team player in a doctor's practice and a clinic, because you can use it to nearly every therapy you give.
We know to say, welcome to the integrative medicine, Bemer. You know that?
Very good, very. So that's our task, and I'm looking forward to do it and to bring it on the table.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you very much for your invitation. Thank you very much.